Hey, boys and girls, this is Lawful Evo. This is the first of my review series. Throughout this series, we're going to be reviewing what I am currently playing. Most of it will be recent. Occasionally, we will do a throwback, because I am kind of a collector of video games over the years upon years. But yeah, we're going to kick it off with Rise of the Tomb Raider. Uh, Overall, thoroughly enjoyed it, but we will get to that. I'm not going to do a traditional review system in the sense of giving it a score. I'm going to more point out what I enjoyed about it, what could have been fixed, etc. Because I don't feel like, giving it a blah 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 out of 10 ever really means anything. I'd rather hear about what's changed in a series, what features are cool, what was absolute dog shit in whoever's opinion I'm listening to. So I'm going to go for more of that. But yeah, starting off, we've got some sweet cutscene action going. But no, we're going to start off talking about a couple different points. We're going to start with area design. In this game, if you played the reboot in 2013, there were a lot of areas that were pretty small. In this one, they expanded that a lot of the areas and area design is larger, but not necessarily daunting or vacant. It's all really well spread out. There's a lot to see and a lot to do. There's a weather and a day and night cycle that affects creature spawns, actually, which was a neat fact. Having to come back to a certain place when it was nighttime in order to hunt an animal. Moving right along, the abilities. We've added finally the ability to swim, which is a huge fucking oversight from the reboot, or the first game, if you will. Because, I mean, if you're an explorer, why wouldn't you be able to swim? I mean, realistically, most of us out here could probably swim, especially if thrown into a survival situation. It just seems silly to not include that. Just huge oversight on the first game. I realized they were trying new things and trying to fit as much as they could into a game, but, I mean, how many adventurers out there couldn't swim? Would Indiana Jones back away from water being like, no, I can't. Which in the first game they did. Most of the water was only like knee deep, so they kind of avoided it that way. But it would have been nice to have some variations, some rivers to actually swim across, etc. Water puzzles. But combat and weapons. Combat's unchanged for the most part. The controls all feel the same. They did add far more weapons, like there's multiple bows, and as you upgrade, it's not just your upgrade changes the bow to a new bow. You've got 4 different bows that can each be upgraded separately, and the same kind of goes for assault rifles and pistols, etc. So there's a lot more choices there. They added a lot of opportunities to sneak and use stealth more in the combat in this. You can move from group of bushes to bushes, silently picking off foes with your bow and arrow if that's how you feel, as well as pick up rocks or cans, etc., throw them against objects, create sound to distract people so you can sneak up on them. So the combat feels vastly improved and a lot more fun, but still feels the same, so you're not having to relearn everything you've learned. The crafting system improved a ton. Like I said earlier, it's not just, oh, you found nuts and bolts repeatedly to change your old bow into a new bow. No, in this one, actually, there's a lot of different crafting pieces you have to locate, whether it be animal skins, etc., from various spawns. So it gives you more to do, but they didn't weigh it down with like, here's 30 different ore types you have to collect, like a decent amount of RPGs and MMOs use. There are also what I like to call combat craftables. If you find, say, a glass bottle laying around real quick in the middle of combat, you can, if you have the resources, turn it into a Molotov and throw it. And that all is done on the fly. Same with crafting bandages to heal you. It's all done while dipping, dodging, ducking, and diving like you're playing dodgeball. One of the newer features they added, and actually we're seeing it right now, was language learning, which felt really weird to me because never once have I gone to a museum, looked at a painting or an ancient hieroglyph and been like, holy shit, I suddenly know Egyptian. So that seemed silly, and just obviously they were adding to more collectibles, because there's some translation things you're not going to be able to collect till you get a language skill up high enough that could have easily just been replaced with either a puzzle or a hidden collectible, like the first game. It just felt like they were stretching the collectibles and going back through to find everything. They did take away multiplayer in this one, but I mean, realistically, that's not a terrible thing. The netcode, if any of you have played it, even on the definitive edition, is absolute ass. You will have lag, you will have disconnects. It just was absolutely terrible. So they took that away, gave them more time to dedicate to the story and the world of the main game. They added a challenge mode in place of multiplayer, but it feels repetitive and tacked on, because it's just essentially, oh, you can go back through this section of the world in a speed run with various buffs or debuffs to get a high score and compete on leaderboards with your friends. And I mean, I could definitely leave that. They could have just not thrown it in, and I would have been just as fine with the adventure we had. The story altogether in this one, very top-notch. Definitely some cheesy groan moments, obviously ripped from Indiana Jones and other adventure movies, but that's not necessarily a bad thing when you're on an adventure game. Overall, the story was phenomenal and kept me wanting to know what was next, which, for the most part, doesn't happen to me too often these days with games. I'll play a game because the gameplay is great, or it has some great features, and like, I thoroughly enjoy the game, but stories most time are forgettable, and this one I needed to know. I had to know. The graphics in this one, if any of you played the definitive edition on PS4 or Xbox One, it's the exact same engine, although it looks like they improved the skybox technology, because the vistas and decoration off in the distance, sometimes, like right now, you just kind of stare off and are going, holy crap, that is so pretty. Which doesn't take a ton, but it was definitely lacking in the first game. It did launch as an Xbox One exclusive, this one, but it is really, really soon about to launch on PC. They actually just revealed the release date this week, and I don't remember exactly when it was, but I want to say it was in a month or two. It's coming pretty close. PS4, sorry guys, you will have to wait till late 2016, they're saying, but it will be worth the wait, especially because at that point they may just release a definitive edition with all the DLC for your console. Definitely pick it up on Xbox One, though, or wait shortly for the PC, or hell, if you have to wait for PS4, do, because it is worth the playthrough. What was next? Oh, yes. Trilogy. This actually is the middle piece of a trilogy, which we've known that. One of the developers, I don't remember exactly who, at a conference kind of spoiled that one a long time ago, so we knew that before Rise even launched. But, they did not totally screw you. I'm going to refrain from spoilers here, but the ending is not a cliffhanger. They do fully flesh out and finish the story, which was awesome. However, do stick around after the credits once you beat it. There is kind of a teaser story bit setting up the next game after that, and then once you boot up your save file after to go back and get all the collectibles and such, there is another little tasty morsel and hint of story there. But yeah, overall, worth checking out. If you're on the fence, wait for a price drop. Like I said, there's no multiplayer or anything that's going to die off. The game's gonna be there. Definitely worth playing through, but if you're not keen on throwing $60 into a single-player adventure, go ahead and wait. Wait for a price drop. It will be there when you're ready, and it will definitely be worth the experience. Last but not least, I would like to thank you all for tuning in. Like I said, we will be doing more of these. Like, comment, subscribe. Definitely comment. Tell me what you agreed with, what you disagreed with, what you want to know more about. I read all the comments and will take the time as I get a chance to respond. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning into Evo Genius Gaming. I am Lawful Evo.